present. For those who don't know me, I am Aarti Jain. I'm working with NHCA Singapore as a director. And today we are going to understand how to clear the interview for the job of school counselor, which I believe is a very, very, very key and important role, especially post-pandemic. Things have changed like anything. I mean, those who have been working with schools or those who are the parents, they know it very well that how pandemic has affected the students and how now it has created a lot of problems for the students. So the job of the school counselor is very important, and hence it becomes very important for every school. Like CBSE has made it mandatory for each school to have a school counselor. And I believe those who have applied for the courses at NHCA for school counseling or the psychology or child psychology, this is going to really help them get a place in any of the schools where you are, any of the town, because it is a mandatory thing made by CBSE and even I believe some of the state governments, that the school counselor is a part, should be a part of every school. So it becomes very important for all of us to understand how to face the interview. But before that, let me understand from you all, what do you think, what is the job of a school counselor? What is the role of a school counselor? Can someone please put it in the chat box? What do you think is the role of a school counselor? Quick answers. What do you think is the role of a school counselor? Anyone? Anything? Okay, to provide solutions, okay, to teach about well, children's point of view, right? Okay, good. Okay, a bridge, Dipali Raskar, right, right, okay. Handling emotional changes, right? Helping children with emotional needs, yes, absolutely. Identify children who need help. uh, Helping students to get inside, Dr. Somel, okay, ensure the mental well-being, okay, guide children with behavioral issues, yes, right, absolutely good. Banda Monacha, to help and motivate students, to understand the child, to guide the children, absolutely. Wonderful, wonderful. So most of you know that what is the role of a school counselor. So we'll just throw some light on it further, that how do we do it. So when we talk about being a school counselor, the very important role, a basic role of a school counselor is, yes, what you are saying, all of you, to support students in their psychological, academic, and social development, all the fields. It's not only about their psychological needs. Sometimes you also have to guide them, you have to steer them towards the academic progress. And also you need to understand there are children who are, whom you find that, okay, they are not so extrovert, or sometimes they are not able to express what they want, though they may be very bright academically, they may be bright, but they lack social skills. So the role of the counselor becomes very important in all the aspects, for not only for student, but I believe for all the stakeholders, maybe the teachers, the students, the parents, the school administrative team. One minute you will find that the counselor is dealing with a class one child who is not very happy coming to school, and another minute you will find that the counselor is actually sitting down with the school administrative team and planning the role of a counselor and further new year strategy, the new sessions strategy, about how we can achieve the goals, vision and vision of the school for the students, keeping the students in mind. So the role of a school counselor is, I believe, not a very small role. A school counselor's role is lying in, I believe, every corner of the school. Very right when Manpreet says strong bonding between parent, teacher and student. Yes, so it's, that's what I said, it's on a, you cannot see the role of a counselor on a micro level, you have to see the role of a counselor on a macro level. You will find that the school counselor's role is spread all through, whether it is academic development of the child, a psychological need of the child, or the social skills need to be developed by the counselor. Sometimes the children need the counselor for that also. So yes, you all have given very beautiful answers where you talk about the role of the school counselor, right? Furthermore, when we talk about role of a school counselor, it's not only the counselor is not only responsible, for all these things, but all sometimes, the child does not is not able to tell what he or she has, the latent abilities, capacities, and interest of the child. This can be definitely done through various psychometric tests and other psychological tests, which can be done by for the students, so that they understand. Sometimes you know, sometimes you don't know. Sometimes the child comes out very easily with their abilities, capacities, interest, hobbies, which field they are very good at. But most of the time, children, they are very shy. They are scared in the school. The name of the teacher itself becomes a taboo for the students, that they are not able to express themselves in spite of everything. And post pandemic, when I go to school every day, I see students in very pathetic shape, because when I see the student, they are not able to even speak clearly. Yeah, very right, Dr. Somil, when you say that assess their mental being. Yes, we also need to assess their mental being, their abilities, mental abilities, their physical abilities, their interests. Sometimes what happens is, you can help a child if you know one aspect, that maybe a child is very good at drawing and painting, but not doing very well at mathematics. So identifying this ability of the child, you can gradually steer the child's interest. First appreciate the child, and then later on you can take the child to the academic development also. So this is the role of a counselor. Sometimes definitely the school counselor. Okay, social interaction. Yes, Manpreet. Dr. Avanti is saying establish a rapport and then steer him or her. Very nice, Dr. Avanti. So the child's role, the counselor's role is also of a mediator. The child's role is of a counselor's role is also of a mediator. Sometimes you find that there are kids, there are students, I mean, especially nowadays, we find that students have become very aggressive, and for small things, they literally fight in the school. There is a lot of havoc in the school, and the parents, they are not at all aware, because to them their child is like, apple of my eye. And I have been identifying and witnessing so many situations where the child is very aggressive at school, but at home the child is very calm and uh, quiet. Okay, develop positive self-esteem and also help them learn life and social skills. Yes, Pradnya D, right, absolutely. So the counselor also has to act as a mediator when you find that, okay, two children who were very good friends yesterday, but for due to some reason they started getting differences and they move apart, and this is also getting an impact on their academic role, social role, and psychology. So the counselor also has to be a mediator's role, and then there can be many times then you have to act as an advocate. You have to call the parent, talk to the parent. You have to sometimes make the parent also understand what is it. So the child counselor's role is, like I say, it's a versatile role. You cannot just limit it to only one situation. There are so many situations where the counselor have to play a very key role. It's not only this thing. You can have another, if I talk about, so social skills teachers, like we have discussed just now. Can somebody tell me how a role of a counselor is as a social skill teacher? Mind it, it's not a subject, social skills we are talking about. Anybody would like to? I would just take two, three, four things and discuss. Yeah. Social, how a child role of a counselor identifies being a social skills teacher. Communication, very good, Dr. Avanti. Yeah, absolutely right. Teaching empathy, breaking ice, breaking fight. Absolutely good. Very nice. Mingle up with children. Okay, Vandna. Guide student to accept friendship and social relationships. Absolutely good. Shilpa is saying good connection with friends and teachers. Yes, absolutely right. Apart from this, the child has to develop other skills, like the child has to become a researcher, the child has to become a specialist, a leader, a consultant. For all these things, these are all social skills. A leader, to be a leader, yeah, socially acceptable behavior, face shifts, absolutely. So these are all the different roles. Like a child has to become a researcher, a child has to become a leader, a child has to become sometimes a specialist of something. So the role of a counselor, it plays a very important role. The counselor plays a very important role, where the counselor helps the child understand and then develop those skills which require for his or you can say comprehensive development. Okay, prepare for child's future portfolio. Very good, Nidhi. That's very nice. Then the counselor has to be a friend. Yes, that's very, very important. Sometimes, you just have to act as a friend there. You just have to be there as a friend. You just have to make the child comfortable and, secure that, okay, This is not a teacher, this is not a principal, this is not my parent, this is my friend, and the child can freely talk to the teacher. So the counselor has a role of a friend. They have to, though it should be like, when I say counselor should be a friend, it does not mean that okay, counselor will start going out and hanging out with the child, but the child should develop that kind of confidence in the counselor, where he or she can actually go and share whatever he or she feels, which they are not able to talk to the teacher, parent, or any other classmate. Yeah, you might just have to listen at times. Very right. A friend who listens. Very right, Dipali. Yeah, building trust. That's very important. A part of being a school counselor is to develop that trust. Yes, make the student comfortable. Absolutely right, Darshna. So he has to be a friend, then also a mentor, a supporter, a good advisor, a good listener, and believer. These are all very important roles played by the counselor, where the counselor has to be not only a mentor, he has to be a supporter. They have to believe in the child, make the child believe in them. That's very important, because then only the child will share whatever he or she feels. Then advisor, all the advice which you gives. Okay, yeah, very right, Dipali, when you say that they do not want our guidance, they simply want that somebody should listen to them patiently. Absolutely. To show the correct path to the child. Yeah, we can tell them what is right, what is wrong, and then develop that confidence inside them that okay, this is right, this is wrong. Now you make the choice. So they should be able to make the correct choice. And this is the main important role of the counselor as a mentor, where the mentor is giving them choices. Okay, this is one path, this is one path. Now you decide which path you want to walk, and give the confidence, make the child so confident that he or she is able to take that decision wisely and correctly. So that is the role of a, yeah, conceive, perceive, and believe. Yes, Manpreet. A mentor should still confidence for them to choose the right path. Yes, Sural, very right when you say that. Very good. Then sometimes the counselor has to be the disciplinarian. Sometimes in some schools what happens is that for every disciplinarian issue, you have the school counselor in front, and he or she is sitting down with all the school code of conduct and all the list of rules and regulations, and then explain to the children who are actually indulged in any act which does not go around with the school code of conduct or the school discipline. So the role of a counselor also becomes a disciplinarian. He or she is the frontline face to the uh, students. So that is it. And of course, a psychologist. So understand the child, understand what is going on. Counseling sessions can be taken individually, in group. Then sometimes may have to understand and address the trauma of the students, and also remedy situations which involves the bullying. There is a lot of bullying in these days. Day before yesterday, only in my school, a class one child came to me crying, and bitterly crying. After 2 years, the child has come to the school, and the child is now crying bitterly. What happened, beta? Why are you crying so bitterly? So he says, he cries and says that this big brother, this big bhaiya in the bus, always makes him stand on this from the seat, and makes him stand in the bus. Says that I am elder and I will sit down. So now here you have to understand what kind of mental trauma the child is going through, what the child is feeling. He's feeling humiliated because he's been made to stand. He has to listen to the bade bhaiya because he is bullying him. And there are so many things which that class one child had to go through. It was so disheartening when I saw that class one child crying to me that bhaiya is doing all this. So as a psychologist, the counselor has to understand what the child is going through, take disciplinary action where bullying and all are going on. Okay, so somebody is writing that counselor is to make each one special. Yeah, absolutely right. Uh, Make them aware of their uniqueness, and in subtle way guide them for their day-to-day activities. They have their long-term plan ready, however they are not aware how to live each day. Very right when you say that. Absolutely right. So this is very important, that you need to understand what the child is going through. So it is very rightly said that a counselor's role is actually in all the phases and all the parts of the school. A counselor has to be present. And especially, I mean, I have been observing in my school also, and when I discuss it with other school principals or teachers, this is the very common problem which we all are facing right now, that most of the students, after 2 years of this whole hiatus, when they have come back to schools, they are not the same. They are not the same mentally, physically, emotionally. All of them are like in a very, sometimes you find they are walking like a zombie. They don't even know where they are walking, what they are doing. Yes, they are happy coming back to school, but still, sometimes we feel that half of them is at home and half of them is in school. And it is such a phase, we don't know how to treat with them. The teachers are at loss. What do we do? How to treat these children? Because we don't know how to actually tackle them, because when they come to school, there is a lot of academics, a lot of syllabus which has to be covered. So teacher is totally focused on syllabus completion. uh, Parents are like, now we are, relieved the child has gone to school, we don't have to take their burden. So the child is lost, doesn't know who likes me, who doesn't like it. So at this point of time, I believe the role of a school counselor is very, very important. He or she plays a key role. And it's very rightly said that every school needs a counselor. I believe it's not only one counselor, there should be more than one counselor according to the strength of the school, so that each and every child has an access to a friend. Yeah, they are mostly having a problem in writing. They complain of head pain as writing is out of practice. Very right, Dipali. And it's not only about writing. uh, when they were at home, when they were taking online classes, they were like very easily enjoying, relaxing, and then taking the classes. So again, coming back to school, and for 6 hours continuously sitting on a table and a chair writing, understanding, yeah, it is very, very difficult for the child. So the role of a school counselor is key, very important here, for the school, for the children, and even the parents. Yes, you're right, Dr. Avanti. COVID has its own side effects. Absolutely right. So it maybe the school counselor is also a consultant. When I say consultant, as a consultant, the school counselor has to actually talk to child not only for their mental health well-being, but also about their career options, about their future plans, about what they want to do in life, how they will do it. Most of the time when we talk to the child, they say, yes, I want to become a doctor, yes, I want to become an engineer, yes, I want to become a chartered accountant. They have their goals listed out, which may be an influence of somebody in the family, somebody, cousin, some distant relative. So they have decided, okay, this will be my role. But most of the time, the students are unaware about the process of reaching that goal. So as a consultant, the school counselor also has to be aware about the process of achieving various career options. That's very, very, very important. So the counselor should also be, appropriately understanding that uh, how to steer the child, understand first through psychometric tests. Various psychometric tests are available, even NHCA has provided us many of them. So we can use those psychological tests and psychometric tests, and then, identify which stream the child should go to, what subjects he or she can take, what is his aptitude, what is his attitude. Understanding them all, we should guide them. So it is a very, very, very important role. So I hope that most of you are now clear about the role of a school counselor. Now the question is that, okay, you have learned everything with NHCA. When you have done your course, you must be knowing all these things you have done, and all the are all mentors and all directors and teachers have been teaching us very well. We all have been doing that. So yes, we are trained for that. But then to be trained and then to express what you know is a very big difference. You should be able to actually cross that line. So as a principal, when I interview, there are so many people who come, and it's really, sometimes, most of the time, it is very funny also. We'll talk about it sometime. So now we'll move on directly to the questions, the interview questions, kind of interview questions, which can be asked, and some suggestive answers will go through. Okay. So the first question which can come is, what are some type of direct student services? Can anyone answer me? What kind of direct student services are there? What are some of the types? Suppose this is an interview going on and you have to answer this question. What are some of the types of direct student services? Anybody? What are the direct? Okay. Remedial coaching. Okay. Dipali is saying remedial coaching. Okay. Anybody else? Listening to the student, career counseling. Okay. Yeah. Very right. Absolutely right, Seema. Anybody else would like to say? Communication, dropout prevention, Dr. Somil. Okay. Character development. Okay. Bal Gopal. Very right. Disciplinarian, Pooja. Okay. Developmental skills, Manpreet. Yes. Okay. One-to-one consulting and listening. Absolutely right. Personality development, Sonal. Absolutely right. Making them familiar with surroundings. Yes. Disconnect with parents and academic and non-academic support, social skills. Yes, Pooja. Very right. You've been listening very carefully. Good. Handling difficult children, nutrition and health. Yes. Teach awareness. Yes. Okay. Yeah. All the answers are absolutely correct. I would just put them into all of your answers, if it can be put on, in 3 different points. The first point would be individual and group counseling. So sometimes you need to do it individual counseling, one-to-one counseling, and sometimes you have to do group counseling. Group counseling as in taking a session about career guidance, as in taking a session about the ethics, values, and morals, maybe some session on importance of discipline. That could be a group counseling. And individual counseling, yeah, it can definitely include personal safety, Rashmi. It has to be including. That is what I'm coming. When we talk about individual counseling, it includes that you have to sometimes understand the child individually, listen to his or her problem, and then you take care of that part. So that was the first thing, group and individual counseling. Yes. Second could be responsive services. When I talk about responsive services, it means that the child sometimes the child needs some response to some problem. There are children who are not able to come and talk to their counselor directly. So the counselor should have this entire data with him or her, and should be able to understand. Yeah, it also includes that, Deepashri. Yes, it includes sexual abuse counseling. Yes, of course. So yes, that comes in grief and guidance counseling. Yeah. So when suppose appropriate behavior modification. Yeah. So the third would be grief and guidance counseling. When I talk about grief and guidance counseling, grief can come from various aspects. Maybe a child has lost his parent, sibling, anybody in the family, some relative. So the child is suffering, going through a grief. That could be some loss. Then there could be some abuse which he or she is facing. That could be one of the griefs. Then there could be some financial problems which is going on in the family, and that has resulted in child. And when the child comes to school, the child is sad because he looks at everybody else having so many things, but the child is not having all those things. So that is grief and guidance counseling. So some type of direct student services could be group and individual counseling, responsive services, and grief and guidance counseling. The next would be, now this is very important and interesting. Why do you want to choose a guidance counselor as a career? So this is a very interesting question. I would like to know answers from each one of you who is attending. Why do you want to choose as a guidance counselor as a career? Please. To ease the pressure and help students grow in their academic and social life. Okay, great. Vasanthi. Yeah. Anybody else? To make a difference on child's approach to life. Okay. To ease their confusions, help students develop belief in their ability. Okay. Give back to the society. So you speak to the child from his point of view. Okay. Puja. Okay. Okay. Yeah, helping students to come out of their frustration. Maximum population is studying in school. Okay. Mental health is highly ignored. It better start from school. Very good, Amrita. Very good. Happy individual. Okay. Okay. That's good. So if as a school principal, I am talking to somebody and I ask that, okay, addressing problems and issues, just a minute, it just got away, just a second. Addressing problems and issues at childhood helps them grow into happier and confident adults. Okay. To ensure that children have easy access to counseling and consultation, something that we did not have back in our school time. Very right, Urja. Okay, to make change in traditional pattern, understanding their problem and helping them to fight, encourage and make a difference, help kid get the best. Okay, so if I'm a school principal and if I am asking this question, my first intention would be to know how sincere and committed you are to this job. All these things which you are talking is what you will do once you will become the school counselor. So these are the things which you will do after you become the school counselor. But my question is, why do you choose this as a career? What is the reason? Why have you chosen this as a career? So that I would know what is your intention in being a school counselor. Because to me, a school counselor role is very, very important. And I cannot just appoint anybody. So, okay, love to be with the students, Dipali. Yeah, okay, this is one thing. Okay, because when I wanted, I did not have one. Very right, Fazana. I can empathize, Vishakha. Okay. Yeah. So that is what you need to give a reason. Channelize the child energies in right way. Okay, Pooja. Yeah, fine. This you will do once you become. Nidhi is writing, helping children in support, having worked with children for over 15 years, seen the other side and want to assess them. Very good, Nidhi. It's really a good answer. So I need to know, as a principal, I would like to know that what is your intention. So there can be various answers. Yeah, whatever you write. You can also, relate. There are times like when I interviewed some people, they were talking about this also. There was one counselor who said that she was basically not very keen into getting into counseling earlier. Before that, she didn't even hear about it. But something happened in her family. Her younger cousin went through a trauma, and there was no one to help the cousin, and that was a turning point in her life. So sometimes, when you have a very a trigger to develop that feeling, that also makes you understand that, okay, what is the importance. Yeah, very right. I want to make an impact with the students' mental being. We had faced so many issues, we didn't hand. Very good, Suvida. Yeah, I had many issues, and when I was growing up, me and my friends had many issues, and I don't want the same for this generation. Beautiful answer. Children want someone to listen. Yeah, okay. This I would love to help parents understand a perspective of the children from the other point of view. Sometimes when we see as parents, we consciously parent them in only way we know, but I sometimes stepping back is necessary. Very right. Very good, Nivedha. It's really a beautiful answer. Absolutely right. So your intentions should be very clear. Why? There should be some trigger point. There should be some turning point, which makes the principal or the person who is interviewing believe that you are here for keeps. You are here with good intentions. You are here to really help, not take it as a job, but you are here because you are able to empathize, because you are able to understand, and because you truly want to help the children. That should be the message which you give to the uh, interviewer. Okay, Shilpa is writing, I'm a good communicator and can easily understand what children feel and how to understand them by putting them in your shoes and helping them to feel comfortable. Right, Shilpa, you're right, absolutely right when you write that. But again, like I said, all these answers, you will do all these things only after you are selected. Question is, why should I? Between two people who will come and say, one will come and say, I am doing it because I have this inside me to help students because I had no one. And the other one will say, I'm a good communicator. So definitely, how will the choice matter? So there should be something which relates. There should be, yeah, you are qualified to be one. Of course, there are so many people who are qualified. Why should I choose you only? Yeah, to know children better. Yes, I'm passionate about helping children. Yes. When I interview people, teachers, when I interview for teachers also, why do you want to be a teacher? Because I'm good at teaching. Now, that is not an answer. Yes, you might be good at teaching, but how are you able to relate? I think what our generation missed badly should be given to this generation, as they are more vulnerable today due to the flood of information they face. Very good, Sonal. This is absolutely the correct answer, that yes, they should. Many parents don't have time, so I want to become the support for them. Yes, your intentions are very good, Prerna. Your intentions could actually give you that opportunity. Absolutely right. Okay, fine. Let's move on to the next questions. Now, there is a question: how would you handle a situation where a student report being abused by a parent? How would you handle that? Please think carefully and then answer. If this is the question being asked, how would you handle carefully where a student reports being abused by their own parent? Write the answers. What do you think should be done? Individual counseling of whom, Manpreet? Okay. Parents counseling. Prerna, is it very easy to call the parent to the school and say that, okay, you're abusing the child? Inform the school management. Very good answer, Suvida. Yes. Yes, very right, Dipali. Take the school principal. Whether there is truth in what he says. Dr. Avanti, how will you establish this? Combined with class teacher, okay. Yeah, right, Prerna, when you say that when they make them aware, then they might come. But most of the time, if our parent is actually abusive, they will never admit. They will never admit that they are. Especially not in front of school, not in front of parents. Individual counseling, very right, Manpreet. Narrate the story to establish the abuse. Very good. Communicate to get more insight and information. Dr. Somil, very right. Yes. Rapport with the child. Okay, Sonal, right. Just a minute. I'll just read out Sonal's answer. Would establish the rapport with the child and gain an in-depth understanding and then inform the management and informally approach parents. And beautiful answer, Sonal. Absolutely good. You would be selected, definitely. So yes, that's very, very important. As soon as a case of child abuse comes to you, the first thing you need to understand is what is the protocol of the school. What is the protocol? So your answer should be that first I would understand what is the protocol of the school about handling such cases, because being a counselor is very important. Wherever you are working, you need to know what is the protocol. Understand the protocol, talk to the school principal, the class teacher, understand. This will be part one, and according to the protocol the next step should be taken. But the part two, which is also important, is do not leave the child. Just be with the child for day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, as much as time as you need. Individual counseling, observation, taking notes, making notes, understand what the child is going through, listen to the child, get the child's confidence, and then understand first part whether the child is speaking the truth or not. And if the child is speaking the truth, then the history or background of the parent, and looking at the protocol of the school, you should be discussing it with the principal. And then with the help of the principal and the school PRO and the school administrative team, you will have to bring the parents in, and then only after that only you will have to talk to the parent, first individually, one by one, and then as a group, and then the child should be brought into picture. So this is what the answer is expected from the school counselor. You cannot directly deal with this. So Sonal's answer was absolutely beautiful. Asking some leading questions. Okay. Okay. Very right. There is no point. You can never discuss any. This job of a counselor is very confidential. You cannot discuss any of the case with anybody. Yeah. Pooja is writing, make the child comfortable. Shukar, yes, absolutely right. That is important. Yes. Be supportive, gather essential facts. Kind often movie Tare Zameen Par. Yes, Prerna, right example. Be with the child. The child should develop that kind. Very good, Prerna. Nice example. Tare Zameen Par. I'm sure हम में से हर किसी ने ये वाला movie देखा, and we all identify with Amir Khan where whatever he has done. And believe me or not, every day in every meeting, I try to find one Amir Khan in one of my teachers, and one of them should be that, so that some of my job would be eased out. So yes, definitely, that's a very important. Yes, Prerna, that's what I'm saying. And you need not only one Amir Khan, but most of the teachers should be Amir Khan. Then only we can get that what we are looking for among the students. So thank you, Prerna. This was very right. Okay. Next question is, how do you do the intervention with the at-risk students? Okay. So who are at-risk students? Anybody? What do you mean by at-risk students? Yeah, Ishwaba has actually put on the series. Yes. Safe and secure, make the child safe and secure, then discuss with management and to take the most suitable action. Very good. Yeah, Prerna is writing depression and disorders at risk. Aggressive, yes. Abused, okay. Suicidal tendency, yes. Recently gone through big life change. Addictions, yes, Sunil. ADHD, yes, Prerna. Low grades behavior issue. Very good, Ishwaba. This is very important. This is what I was looking for. Low grades behavioral issues. Yes. Autism, learning disability. Yes, of course, all these things are there. Mostly when we talk about at-risk students, these are the students who are, at margin, who are in the school to study, but not able to, get the results, not able to produce results in spite of all the efforts. So such students are like at-risk students. And for them, it is, how would you intervene with such students? Can anybody tell me? Yeah, these are the issues, at-risk students. And how are you going to help them? How will you intervene with them? First step should be finding the root cause of the issue and then working on it. Very good, Urja. Yeah. What else can be done to intervene at-risk students? First, motivate the child, Dr. Avanti. Okay. This is very common thing that, okay, you motivate the child, but how do you do that? Find the trigger. Very right, Pooja. Ensure the child, okay, build rapport, gain their trust, find the root cause, okay. Trusted bond, background, know the sudden change, trigger points. Make him or her talk, then identify the cause, okay. You know the cause, then what? Acknowledge their problems and build trust. Fine, you got the cause, now what? Give some real life examples. Yes, Dr. Avanti, right? We can give some real life. We can actually talk about some real life examples. Yes. Effective tool and techniques. Okay. Create a custom individual plan for child support. Very right. You need to get the information. When I will talk to the counselor, I would like to know, these are all terms, effective tools and techniques, but what tools and techniques? How? I would be more interested in knowing the process. I would not go for the terms. Yes, okay. We need to develop. I want to talk to the parents. Okay, very right. Okay. So what answer I am looking for would be that, okay, yes, you are right when you say all of your answers are very right and very correct. And we can put them together in few lines in this way that, okay, all the at-risk students will first find the root cause. What could be the reason why they are at risk? Then what are the triggers? Yes. After that, make a plan that how you are going to help them. Yes. And then during that, you need to talk to the child. You need to make the child understand. You need to set real life examples. You need to tell the child various kind of stories. And then you need to help the child in setting his or her goal. Let the child know what is the goal, and he or she should have the clarity of the goal. The child should know what I want in my life. And for that, as a counselor, you need to set a lot of goals. You need to set a lot of examples. You need to set a lot of real life stories. You need to make the child identify with any of the characters, so that he or she is able to know that, yes, this could be my goal. And then once the child is knowing how to get the goal, sometimes what happens is that the child is, in spite of knowing what is goal, not able to reach. So what do we do? That maybe, like I said earlier, the child is good at sports, the child is good at art and craft, the child is good at music, the child may be good at painting, the child may be good at so many other things. Identify that hidden talent in that child, bring that child first to do that, because the child is already confident about that particular art, that particular interest. So he or she is going to excel in that. Once the child excels in that, then you can gradually steer the child towards the academic thing, and to make them understand what is their goal, how will they achieve their goal. And this will help the child be motivated, because you can motivate a child once. Will that be enough? No. Sometimes you have to develop in this whole thing in such a manner that the child becomes self-motivated. You cannot always be there to trigger. So the child has to have that trigger from inside. That intrinsic motivation has to come, and then only the child will be able to go. Shouldn't the parents also be spoken, because they play a key role in the child's life? Yes, we should talk to the parents, but I believe once the child becomes self-motivated, then there is no need of the parents also to, because if a child is self-motivated, he or she has a clarity of goal, and if he or she knows what is the path towards achieving that goal, then there is no thing where you need the parent or anybody else for that matter. So the child has to identify, so you need to be and work with the child. This is what I believe. But I believe, yes, help in making realistic goals which suit the child. Yes, of course. Yes, very right, Seema. This will help the child. Absolutely right. Okay. Okay, let's take another question. Tell me about a time you collaborated with teachers and or other adults in a student's life to resolve a student's problem. Anybody? I don't know if anyone of you has been working in the capacity of a teacher or a counselor or anybody. I mean, what would you, if you are going for this interview and this is asked about you, what will you say? What should be your answer? Yes, Dr. Avanti, you're absolutely right. Very often parents are not ready to accept their child's shortcomings. Yes. Urja is writing, we set up special accommodations that include training the teachers to help an autistic child. Okay, good, Urja. So the question is asked to a person that how you would be, tell me about a time you collaborated with teachers or other adults in a student's life to resolve a student's problem. So what would be your answer to this? Answer me as a counselor as if you are giving an interview. Help children with learning disabilities. Okay, Vandana, very good. Latent abilities of child in light, Manpreet. Okay. I collaborated with, sorry. I collaborated with a teacher for a student who had exam fever. Okay. I had worked with a child who came from a broken home. Okay. Yes. Yes, Savita, you can give example of your own children also. Give confidence to make a decision. Yes. Yes, of course. Have helped children with art for focusing problems. Okay, Pooja, good. To know engagement in positive activities. Yeah. So all these things put together again, your answer should carry all these things when you say that. Okay, there is a good answer here. I have a student who always used to feel like a dinosaur and behaves like it. I spoke to the parent and teacher, spoke to the child and family that they should stop talking and comparing to be animal. And I said, you're a human being. Slowly he settled down. Very good, Yoshita. It's a beautiful answer. Yes. So that is what a real life example. Being independent. Okay, children from separated parent, help teacher understand the child emotional state of mind, give extra time to complete work. Yeah, absolutely correct. So what I'm looking for is, what the principal, as a principal, if I would be, what I'm looking for is that you are prepared to work as a team. You cannot solve everything individually. You will have to take help of teacher, subject teacher, sports teacher, art teacher, even the parents, or sometimes even somebody from outside. And then as a team you can collaborate, and then only you can help the child. So this is the answer which anybody would be thinking. Okay, counsel a class 10 girl who was into self-harm, could help her with cooperation with school management and her mother. Very good, Amita. Who refused to come in front of camera, realized that he was conscious of his teenage growth changes. Yes, Dr. Avanti. Yeah. So that's what. So as a you will have to answer it in such a way that the interviewer knows that yes, you are open to teamwork, and you will take help, you will ask for help from others to solve the case. That is important, right? Okay. Okay, a teacher reports that a student is consistently disruptive. How would you handle this? Any answers? A teacher comes up to you and says that a student is constantly disruptive. How would you handle this? How would you answer this question? Very good, Pooja. Find the trigger, show the child effective ways, releasing his emotions. Absolutely right, Pooja. Good. Make him monitor, give a responsibility, speak to the child to understand the trigger. Lot of detailed history. Yes. Root cause, observe, talk to the student and get the root cause of the problem. Very good, Seema. Yes. Talk to the student and understand what's the What's disturbing? Vasanti, yeah, absolutely right. Okay. Yes. First observe, then connect. Rashmi, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very good. Understand the cognition behind such behavior, connect and engage in positive activities. Absolutely correct. Very technical, Sonal, but yes, correct. Absolutely correct. Very right. So, yeah, anybody else would like to answer? Children do not open up easily, so patiently reaching their task. Yes. Direct positively working with the teacher who complained. Very good, Nidhi. That's very important. That shows that yes, the teamwork spirit is also there. Yeah. Okay, so the answer would be yes, there are children who have disruptive behavior. And when you say that, yes, we need to find out the trigger. You need to find out the root cause. What could be the root cause? Why the child is behaving the way he or she is behaving? You know, when once what happened was I was in school as a principal, and it had been only 2 or 3 years, and I had just joined as a principal, and there were so many things. And I had one child in class 12, and this child, I don't know what problem he had. One fine day, I found the windscreen of my car was broken. A big stone was there, and it was all broken. We could find out because of the cameras and all that this was the cause, that this was the child who did it. Now immediately I could understand something is wrong with the child. Why the child is behaving the way he is behaving? There was a lot of anger in the child. This kind of disruptive behavior, I mean, it was so. And he did it not only once. I got it done. I talked to the child. I tried to talk to the child, and then I also talked to the parent, and then it was ensured that okay, it won't happen again. But then next time he did it in front of my house. Again, next time he broke the window of the car. It took me almost 6 months to regularly be in touch with the child, and ultimately at the end of the day, I came to know that the child was annoyed because he was never given the opportunity in the school to do anything, and he felt it's because of the principal that he is not getting. So sometimes the children, they assume things. So there are times when the teachers do not let things happen, and the principal, being a principal, you get involved in so many things and you don't know what is happening with that one particular child. So these are the things which happen. So you find disruptive behavior. To handle them, first you need to know the trigger. What was the behavior? Why he or she is behaving the way? And then using all your communication skills, all your patience, all your faith. Yes, definitely, yes. Okay, Vandana, what do you want to share? Please, can you write it in the chat box only, Vandana? Okay, so they consider you as their icon. And yeah, Dr. Avanti, absolutely right. So it would involve so many things. You have to bring, first you understand the trigger, then to bring that child back from that place to what he or she has to be. He annoyed and enjoyed being bad. Nobody felt child comfortable. That's why he done that things, okay? Manpreet, yeah. Keep hope and keep talking with child. Yes, Dipali, absolutely right. So you have to keep on talking, use all your communication skills, coping skills, also talk to the parents, talk to the other teachers, and then gradually you will find that the behavior of the child is changing. But you will need lot of patience, oceans of patience. Yes, CBT would work here, but it would take a lot of time, Sonal. It would take a lot of time because going down to the root case, sometimes the child may not be ready to talk to you. When you'll have to go down to the root cause and the child is not ready, so you will have to take help from other sources also. Like I came to know why the child is angry from one of his friends. The child never confessed why he is angry. So sometimes you have to take help from other students, other teachers, parents. You have to take all the stakeholders in account, and then only you'll be able to do it. Yeah. Yes, you're right when you say that they seek attention, and the only way they feel is through disruptive behavior. And this is what happened with me. I had to, get my car repaired 3 times. So that was really interesting also. But it also gave me, the perspective that okay, No child should be ignored in the school. And I learned that from that child. And from that day till this day, I am like working in various schools, but I make it a point that each and every child has this freedom to come to the principal's office, talk to me openly. I give them that confidence that come and talk to me properly, whatever it is. And so now, even a class one child, like I said, came running and crying and saying that, okay, मैम वो बड़ा भैया मुझे बस में बहुत मारता है. So yes, I learned that lesson from there, and this is what the job of a counselor is. So as a child, my child didn't allow me to write the heading on my painting because of my bad writing. It took time for me to overcome that anger. Yes, Rashmi. Yeah, very right. Okay. Okay. So that's how you handle the disruptive behavior. Okay. Now, you may be subjected to criticism from teachers, students, and parents. How do you handle criticism? This is very important. It's about you now. It's not about child. How will you do that? Okay, good. Response, not react. Okay. Vandana, very good. Okay. Clear delete therapy. Prerna. Okay. For those who don't know about this therapy, you'll have to talk to Dr. Mittal and learn it. Dr. Avanti, take it in a positive manner. Analyze. Analyze is the right word, Avanti. Yeah, analyze. Absolutely right. Prerna, remember you are answering to the principal. You will say clear delete therapy and principal would be at loss of words. What's happening? With positive attitudes and have confidence in myself, try to understand why the criticism. Yes, Pooja, very good. Yeah, good. See if there is anything to be taken positively, otherwise just ignore. Okay, take it positively. Do self-instruction. Very good. Ma'am, he will be keen to learn the therapy from Dr. Mittal. Yes, Prerna, that's true. So the moment you say delete therapy and he'll ask what's there, you refer them to Dr. Mittal. Right. Talk to critics and let them know your intentions. Yeah, should not take it personally. Very good, Pooja. Patiently hear them and address the same if needed by responding rather reacting. Yes. So I always say this to teachers: respond, don't react, because only chemicals react and we are human beings. So very good. Marketing NHCA everywhere. That is what we do, Prerna. Yeah. Leave everything on the chair as I leave the room. Dipali, you leave the room and you leave everything, but that does not solve the problem. Problem remains there itself. So you need to definitely introspect. You cannot just leave because you say, yeah, not to take personally is absolutely correct. So as a counselor, as a human being, you need to understand this thing, that you meet 50 people in a day. Out of 50, 25 may like you, 25 may not like you. There is a possibility. And there is a possibility that those who like you also may go for criticism for something which they did not find apt. So as a counselor, you need to deal with all these things. You need to, introspect, you need to analyze and take it as a feedback. Positive, negative, we are not talking. A feedback coming to you, analyze it, understand. If you find that yes, it's a good feedback, you understand, bring the desired change. If you find that okay, this feedback is okay and it does not actually have any impact on your work, then fine. Because your main job is that you are there for the students, you're not there for anybody else, right? So that has to be done. Okay. A conflict develops between a student and a teacher. Whose side would you take? Now, this is very interesting. No one. Wow. Being neutral, understanding both. Great. That's great. Nobody. Okay. None being neutral. But how would you do that? I mean, a teacher has come and a student has come and they both are saying something to you and you'll just sit like this? No, you'll have to comment something. What would you do? Listen, being neutral. Okay. So what would you do? I mean, you cannot just sit quiet. I mean, a teacher is there, a student is there, they're complaining and they're talking. You'll have to listen to them both. You'll have to assist. You'll have to say something. You'll have to comment. You cannot just be neutral. Yes or no. Help them both. Okay. Hearing both sides. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Talk with them separately. Yeah, that could be the key. So yes, you are right when you say that we should not take sides. You will not take side, either the teacher or the student. You will first listen to both the side. What is the conflict? And sometimes there is a possibility that only after listening it might be solved. They realize what is wrong and they solve it themselves. Yes, that could be the thing. But at the same time, if you do not respond, you may lose their trust. You may lose the teacher's trust or the student's trust. So you have to be very, very, very understanding and then respond accordingly. Sometimes it is possible that when you're listening to one person and yeah, suggest them a right solution. Yes, of course, it is always there. You will listen to one person, you will listen to the other person, understand, get to the key issues, talk about them. Don't offer them anything. Don't offer them a solution which can be either side. Just talk about it and let them find the solution out of your talk. That could be the right answer. Okay. Yeah. Okay. A student you are working with is resistant to counseling. How would you resolve this? A student you are working with is resistant to counseling. How would you resolve this? Anybody? Build a rapport. Very good. Be a friend. Yes. A lot of patience. Very good. Right word. Develop friendship. Okay. Continuous informal counseling session. Develop a rapport, building trust, and thereby institution. Very good. Play games. A lot of patience. Yeah. So that's, I think most of you got the answer. That most of the time it is the same student who needs counseling is resisting your counseling. First thing is to understand that he only will resist who needs it. So you know that yes, the counseling is required. Understand that. First thing. Second, know the background of the child. Do your research. Informal chats, formal chats. Afterwards, develop that trust. Have all the patience, oceans of patience, and then get to the point. Try to bring the child into confidence, build a rapport, and then you can solve that. Very good answers. Very good. Absolutely good. Very good answers, all of you. So, what is the most important quality for a school counselor? Listening, patience, and empathy. Patience, understanding, empathy. Okay. Logical empathy, empathetic listening. Okay. Empathetic listener, patience, perseverance, mirroring. Savitra. Okay. Mm-hmm. Pure intention to help people grow. Listening skills and patience and analysis. Yes, Dr. Avati. Yeah. Okay. So what are the most important quality? Anybody else? Not having fixed views, approachable and friendly. Yeah. Patience, empathy, listening, good listener, oceans of patience and active mind, calm and composed. Yes. Analytical skills. Yes, of course. Yes. Okay. Love for her job. Yes. Not being judgmental, not judging, compassionate, happy, not being reactive. Seema. Okay. Be genuine. Yes. Problem solving, decision making. Yes. Should be extrovert, who is able to understand the person without judging. Yeah, all the answers are correct, but according to me, what I feel I can add to this is most important quality skill a counselor should have is a good communication skill. And good communication skills include both a good listener and a good person who can speak, a good speaker as well as a good listener. Because if you have this communication skills in place, you should be able to do all the things. Yes, empathy is important. Yes, patience, perseverance, analytical skills, being non-judgmental, they all are important. But if you're not able to communicate them properly in the way it should be, then all these things will make no difference. So most important quality is to have a good communication skill. Okay. Next, how do you feel about working in a team environment? Very direct question. And the direct answer, I believe all of you can give that yes, working in a team. For any counselor, it is important. You cannot run your counseling thing independently. You have to work with all the stakeholders, be it a teacher, be it principal, be it the school management, the class 4 staff, the students, parents, and the child. So yes, you have to have a wider view, yes, and you should be able to work in a team. So working with the team is more important. Most important, you have to collaborate with every stakeholder. Okay. Okay, what is your strongest asset? Talk about your strength and how will they support your profile. So I think this can be okay, independent individual answers, and we have been talking all these things right now, that what could be your strongest asset. Rapport building, communication skills, empathy, leadership, understanding, non-biased, patience, perseverance, all these things could be. And how will they support your profile? So you have been talking about all these things. Wonderful. Yeah. Tell us about a successful case that you have handled and other one that was not so successful. What would have been done differently? Tell us about a time you helped a student be successful. So here, maybe you have worked as a school counselor somewhere, but if you have not worked as a school counselor, then it would be difficult, but you can always relate your case to some episode in your life where you were able to help some child in the life. Some case where you handled clearly, and some cases where you should be very honest about it. This is the key here, because the interviewer knows very rightly when you are just bluffing. So be honest, take names, talk about the person where you have had a satisfying case and where you were not so successful. So talk about your strength and weaknesses and be honest about it. How would you address an angry parent? Yes, this is very important. Anybody? Quick answers will take. We are already crossed the limit of time. Comforting with words and this listening. Yeah. Respond, not react. Very good, Pooja. Patient listener, Vanna, very good. Okay, without getting yourself angry, techniques as a holistic mind coach also. You're right, Prerna, mind coach techniques, help them, holistic mind coach, yeah. Calm him down, allow parent to vent out. Very good, Vigneshwari. Listen, deep breathing, calm, yeah, okay. Give platform to vent him out. Very right, Srishta, it's very important. Make him feel heard, yes. Only respond, avoid unnecessary arguments, yeah, that's right. So to the angry parent, first key you should know is that any parent who is coming angry is actually disturbed because of the child. For him, unki aankhon ka jo tara hai has been hurt in one way or the other. So that's why the parent is angry. So please don't try to be very wise, vidwan banne ki koshish nahi karna hai. We just have to listen first. Don't get into defensive mode. Don't get into aggressive mode. Just listen. Half of the anger is finished the moment the parent is able to talk what is bothering. So first key would be listening. Second would be responding. Don't react, accept where the mistake is made. If you find that a teacher is wrong, accept. If you find that the fault is on the school spot, accept. If you find that even the fault is not on the school spot, that particular moment, don't point out the mistake of the child. That would be the gravest mistake you would do, right? So listen, then understand, talk. I have this most of the time. I have parents coming very aggressive. Once I reached school and a parent came, media बुला लूंगा, ये किया आपके बच्चों ने, वो किया आपके बच्चों ने. I said, please come sir, let's have a talk in the office. I took him to my office and I asked him what happened. He talked for next 20-25 minutes non-stop what all has been bothering him. After 20-25 minutes, I offered him a glass of water. We had it, and half of his things were clear. 2 or 3 sentences I had to talk. He said sorry, thank you, and left. So yes, most of the time listening is the key. Later on, responding. Never be defensive, never go offensive, just listen. Yes, very right, Manpreet. When to be hearing mode, speak right at the right time. Absolutely. And then the last question for today, how would you address a passive or uninvolved parent? Anybody? There are parents who are passive, who are hardly bothered. How would you take them? Show him the mirror. Okay, Right. Counsel them. Yes. Ask open-ended. This is a very right answer. Comprehend how their behavior is impacting the child's development. Very right, Sonal. Counseling. Okay. You need to tell them about the counseling taken by NHCA mentors and counselor on how to talk your child so that your child would listen, and how to listen so that your child would talk. These sessions which we are taking at NHCA, I believe they are the ones which help us learn to understand the parent, child, and so many ways. So you can always steer them towards having these sessions, trying to involve them in the child, make them aware of child activities. They should understand their role, help to understand. Yeah. So the key is that first of all, you will have to very skillfully, very understandingly make the child, make the parent first of all accept that yes, they are passive, because no parent is going out and accepting that you are passive. Nobody will accept. First you have to understand, make them understand you are passive, and then you have to talk about how their being passive or uninvolved is having an impact on their own child's growth, and then you can actually bring them to the mainstream. So that's all from my side. Any questions or anything, please let me know. Okay. First standard boy complaining about his senior. If you don't mind sharing, can you tell us? No, no, there's nothing about not minding. Yeah, I had to, first of all, when the child came running and crying, first I soothed him, made him drink water. I told him that, okay, I'm your friend, and I'm happy that you came to me, and I'm able to understand what you are going through. I know you must be feeling very bad about what is happening, and don't worry, I'm going to talk to the senior boy. But that time I did not call the senior boy. That time I consoled him. I walked him to the bus and made him sit in the bus. That itself was an example for the senior boy that, okay, the boy has gone to the principal and now I am on the radar. So he definitely did not do anything that day. Next day morning, I called the elder boy. I talked to him. I told him, made him understand few things. He understood and he promised me that okay, next time I won't. And I made him responsible. I made him the bus monitor. That now you will see the entire bus sitting arrangement, and you will take the responsibility of everyone. And thankfully, he was a good child, so everything was clear. So this is how I handled it. How do we tackle introvert child? Okay, see, first of all, we'll have to understand that being introvert is not wrong. Most of the creative people are generally introvert. So until and unless it is very it is harming the child, don't try to get into his domain and make him extrovert overnight. It's okay. Yeah, that's what Dipali, when you say that, yes, he stood up for himself, and that is what I said. I learned from that student way back, that I have to be available and have that confidence in each child of the school that they can walk to me. How to involve a disinterested parent? We just had a word about it, that you just need to first call the parent somehow to the school, and first make them accept that they are uninvolved, they are disinterested, by quoting all the examples where they did not sign the diary, they did not check the homework, they did not appreciate the child. If they are not willing to talk, then if they are not coming, if the horse, that is the key, if they are not coming, then you have to go to them. How to bridge the gap between management, parent, and child's interest? See, first of all, being a counselor, you have to understand the protocol of the school. That is it. Now, between parent, management, and child's interest, your job first comes as a towards the child's interest, because you are responsible for the child. So that should be your first priority. Once you know the child's interest, then it is up to you to make a bridge between the management and the parent. When child is having problem with selecting a career path, he or she is engrossed in multiple things and they are coming to pick one. Firstly, get a psychometric test done. Tell them what is the importance of psychometric test, and on the basis of that, tell them what is the aptitude of the child. Then only he or she can choose the career. Not interested in going to school, you have to first identify what he or she is interested in. And if he or she is, because I personally believe, and this is what my experience of 25 years says, that every child has some interest, any one interest. So you have to identify that interest, tell the child, assure the child, and provide that interest in the school. First month, let the child deal in only that interest. Then later on, steer him towards the things, and it will help. No, like I said in the first Shiv Kami, like I first said that a counselor job is not only individual counseling but group counseling also. So there are things which you need to do as a group. You need to identify various age groups and take sessions. Like if you are talking about class 7th to class 10th, you have to talk about all the problems which are going to happen in teenage. So you may have a different session for boys, different session for girls, and combined sessions. So not necessarily if a child comes, then only you act on your own also. Yeah, life skills group sessions. That's very right, Dipali. So thank you everyone for listening to me so patiently. It has been a pleasure talking to you all, and it was really the topic very close to my heart, which I do every day. So thank you so much. Okay, we have something like that. Yeah, thank you so much everyone. Thank you, it was good knowing you all, and you people have been very good audience. By your answers only we could able to go. So thank you so much. I'll just stop sharing my screen. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, Dr. Mittal, I think we finished the session. What do you want? Dipali, yes, you may be selected, but competition is very tough, You have a very tough competition. So I think you need to take more trainings with Dr. Mittal. Yeah, thank you so much, Pravija. Thank you. It's really good. I mean, it was very good with you all over there. It was good knowing and learning. We learn from each other a lot. But I believe we should all thank to Dr. Mittal for arranging such beautiful session and NHCA, of course. Uh, thank you, Dr. Avanti. Thank you, Swati. Thank you, Sonal and Vishakha. I believe Dr. Mittal is not available. He is not responding. Maybe he is busy. So if anybody else has anything, we can talk till he comes back. I just tried to put some perspective because in school job, being a principal, there are so many different characteristics. I meet so many different kind of people, and there are so many different kind of experience which we have. I had one teacher coming for English as an English teacher interview, and first question which I asked, she was like, "Does it come in English only or what?" So I was like, "Do you really want to become an English teacher?" So there are various episodes which keep on happening. Though it is very relevant, but it is really an interesting job at times, especially dealing with kids is amazing. It's blessing. It's a blessing. Okay, Shrestha wants to say something. Yes, Shrestha, would you please write it in the chat box only? Whatever. Okay, how to improve a child's attention with studies. Sonal, it's very simple. What I would suggest here is, what happens is we actually try to goad the child into something which does not interest him or her. The idea is first to take him to something which is interesting. And then from there, once the child starts getting praises, appreciation in whatever he or she is doing, then you can say that if you can do this so well, I'm sure you can do other things also equally well. And imagine if you are appreciated in all the aspects, how great it would be. So then that leads the child to academics. Remove boredom from studies, make it interesting, give them hands-on learning. You should know the learning styles of child. There are children who learn, there are auditory learners, there are visual learners, there are kinesthetic learners. So you need to know as a teacher, as a parent, how does your child learn, and accordingly you have to remove the boredom. Okay, your question is, Shrestha, how to counsel a parent who is adamant to decide for his child, like his food choice of subject. You have to actually give choices to the parents where the parent is not able to choose in his or her adult life. You have to give them triggering questions. You have to set examples of their own life and tell them you have to do it. You have no choice. How would you feel? Make them go into the shoe of the child. Then only the parent will understand what the child is. Make them feel what the child is feeling. Yes, learning by choice, not by force. Very right, Manpreet. Okay, uh, fine. I believe we can end the meeting here. Dr. Mittal is not responding. I'll just try to call him once. It seems he is not responding and recording is still going on. So I think we should stop here and that would end the session, believe so. So one more concern has come: mobile addiction, teenage emotional involvement with opposite gender. Yes, Dipali, again, it has to be handled very, very, very carefully. And it takes a lot of patience, a lot of knowledge, a lot of insight, and plus you need to go down to the level of the child and understand what the child is thinking, what he or she is in the present zone, because their zones are very different, and you cannot judge them. One should not judge. Sometimes you just make 2 plus 2 and judge them and label them, and this labeling is the biggest harm to any child. So do not label any child, right? So thank you so much. I believe we can end the meeting here. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.